Welcome back to She Talks Money, where we talk about building wealth, creating freedom, and becoming the kind of woman who feels deeply fulfilled in the life she's building. And today's conversation is one I think so many women desperately need right now, because I think there are a lot of women walking around looking incredibly successful on the outside, but quietly feeling exhausted, disconnected, lonely, and unsure why success suddenly feels so heavy. And the truth is, high-achieving women are carrying a lot. The pressure, the expectations, the emotional labor, the leadership, the constant balancing act between ambition and fulfillment. So today's guest, Christi Cossette, has made it her mission to help women navigate exactly that. Christi is an executive leadership coach, speaker, best-selling author, and founder of the Powerhouse Women Network, a community created specifically for ambitious women who are craving deeper connection, alignment, and a version of success that actually feels good to live. With more than 20 years of leadership experience in global finance, transformation, and executive coaching, Christi brings both strategy and emotional intelligence to the conversation in such a powerful way. And today we're talking about why so many successful women still feel empty, burnout and overfunctioning, why women secretly crave deeper community, and how to redefine success before success starts costing you your peace. Christi, I'm so excited to have this conversation. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
So, from the outside, your life and career looked incredibly successful. Leadership, influence, building businesses, helping women, but you've openly shared that there was also a season where success felt really heavy. So can you kind of take us into that?
Yeah, so it was several years ago. I had reached the vice president level. I was leading a large team of 100 people reporting up to me. And I finally had the title, I had the pay, I had the corner office like overlooking downtown. And I thought I had made it. I was so excited. But it didn't take long to realize that I had to travel a lot. And at its worst, I was traveling like 3 weeks out of the month.
Wow.
And I also realized that all the men around me had support, whether it was their wife, their mom, their executive assistant. Somebody was literally, of course, managing their calendar, paying the corporate bills for them, scheduling their travel, but also bringing them coffee and lunch, and sometimes even having a car pick them up to take them where they needed to go. And in comparison, I had no support. I was doing all of that myself. And then at home, of course, I have 3 young boys. They're 14, 9, and 8. And so cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, meal planning, I'm scheduling the doctor's and dentist appointments for everyone else, plus myself. And I looked around and I was like, man, there has got to be a better way. And so I realized that my definition of success was not truly success at all. I was burnt out and exhausted. I wasn't taking care of my health. I was on crappy airplanes and staying in bad hotels all the time, eating bad food. And so I had to reassess where I was at and what I really wanted.
I think that's what really overlooked for women in particular too, because I was just literally having a conversation with another coach last week, and one of my first coaches was male, and he was fantastic, super high producer in the mortgage business, and we were kind of going through like my daily routines and kind of expectations, and it was like, well, why aren't you in the office at 8 a.m.? And and he had all of these things, right? And I looked at him, I'm like, does your wife work? And he's like, what? I'm like, well, does your wife work? No. Okay. So do you think that if she did everything that you do, she could also be doing everything that she does at home and for the kids and everything else? And he was like, no way. I'm like, that's exactly what you're asking me to do right now. I can't be to the office at 8 a.m. I have to get kids to school,
right?
Just to pack, and I have to balance what you're trying to accomplish in a normal 8-hour day, probably in 6, because they need me on the front side, they need me on the back side, so it's good that we talk about this, because I think so many women just internalize it and just expect to do it anyways and push and push and push, and that's how we get burnt out, right?
Yeah, and we're also taught that we have to do it alone.
Yeah.
That we're not supposed to ask for support, because we're the supporters. We're the ones that are supposed to help everyone else. So when we choose to work and take on additional responsibility, there's like this hidden weight that we decide, oh, well, I can't ask anyone for help if I do that. I have to do it all.
Right. Yeah. So I think so many women relate to this feeling of like, I built the life I thought I wanted, so why doesn't it fully feel the way I imagined? I know this so well. So how do you think why do you think so many high achieving women experience that disconnect?
Yeah, well, it goes back to the feeling that we have to do it all and we can't ask for support. So people ask me, for example, how do you do it all? Because I do still work full time and I have an executive role. I have a company as an author, a keynote speaker, and an executive coach, and I do still have 3 young boys and a loving husband. And I answer the question of I don't. So I get a lot of help. I have a nanny who feeds my kids breakfast and gets them on the bus in the morning, and so that I can do, have my morning quiet time, set intentions for the day, do my morning workout. My husband is very supportive and helpful around the house. He does a lot of cooking and cleaning. We also have a cleaner who comes every other week and deep cleans the house. And through my business, I have a virtual assistant who supports me. And whenever I'm taking on something new, I have to assess, can I still do this, or what else do I have to offload in order to add this to my plate, or what has to take a back seat? So it's a constant assessment of, okay, I want to do that, but what do I need to do versus what can I delegate? So I always, in my keynote, I talk about the importance of only do what only you can do. So in my case, I lead, I speak, I coach, and I write. Those are my 4 things. Everything else can be offloaded, other than, of course, spending time with my kids and taking care of my family as needed. But when it comes to making decisions, that's how I make that assessment. And I just think that women need permission to do that. Like, we have to acknowledge that there is not a single man on this planet that got to the successful level that he's at alone. He has had support every step of the way, and therefore we should expect the same level of support in order to get to that same level.
And without guilt, right? Because I was going to say, did you feel guilty at first? I remember hiring my cleaning lady at first, and I kind of felt guilty, like, because we grew up with mom stayed home and cleaned the house. So there's that expectation of like, I should be taking care of my home, or I should be doing that, but like literally did not have time for it. So I think that I had to get past that guilt at first too, that I was not doing this.
Well, and for many people, it even goes beyond guilt. It's almost like a personal failure. Like, I can't handle it all. What's wrong with me? I should be able to do this. And there's the thing that I'll add too is there's also a component of, even if there's something that we hate doing that we would love to offload, there's also a sense of we love control. And to be able to let it go means that someone else has to pick it up, and they're probably not going to do it as well as we did, at least the first 10 times. So even I've seen over and over women say, okay, fine, I'm going to offload this. Like, let's say it's grocery shopping. Okay, I'm going to let my husband do the grocery shopping this week. I'm going to still do the meal plan, and I'll plan it all out, but I just need him to go get the groceries. And then it never works out like you expect. Like, oh, he got home late from work, he forgot. Maybe he went and he ended up getting a bunch of nachos and
I was going to say, it's a lot less healthy foods in my house than my husband goes.
Exactly. And then she's just like, throw in the towel. This isn't working. Forget it. Never mind. I'll do it myself. And we have to get through that hump and really just learn to let it go. And, truly, I still know if I'm out of town, chances are my husband's taking my kids to McDonald's for dinner. And I have to just be like, roll my eyes and be like, well, they're fed. They're going to make
They'll remember those special treats in the future, right? When Mom was out of town, Dad used to take us to McDonald's.
Well, and they actually look forward to it. They're like, oh, sweet, she's gone. Now we can eat the crap food that we've been wanting to for so long. And don't get me wrong, my husband, again, is super helpful. It's just there's something about when I'm out of town and he has that extra weight of having to, in his mind, do it all at that point, that he's like, oh, forget it. I'm not going to worry about cooking. I'm just going to eat out.
They way more easily, I think, offload or delegate than we do. So do you think women are redefining success right now? And if so, what do you think they're craving more of?
I would say definitely yes. We see it over and over again. Women are leaving the corporate world in droves and starting their own companies. or they're pushing back. They're not taking promotion opportunities, not because they can't handle it or they're not capable, but they're like, it's not even worth it, or they're not given the flexibility that they need in order to manage their household. I mean, that example you shared earlier, I'm sure that man never even questioned. He's just like, well, if you were really driven and motivated,
right,
then why didn't you show up at 8 every day? And you're like, well, excuse me, I actually have more on my plate than you might.
Yes.
So it's, we have to continue to have conversations like this and raise the visibility to it. There's also still the ongoing conversation when a woman is being considered for promotion. They're asked, like, well, where are you at from how's your family? And it's part of the conversation when it really should not be.
Right.
So there's still definitely a difference in expectations, and society at large still expects us to do it all. Well, yes, you can have a seat at the table, but you still have to do all the other stuff you did before.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're dropping the ball and you're not making, me happy. You're not living up to what your role is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So we have to redefine that definition and get the help that we need in whichever area makes the most sense. For some women, it is at home, and for some, you can delegate as much as you can in the office. So.
Yeah. I love, one thing I love about your messaging is that you talk about women not needing to hustle harder. Why do you think so many women become trapped in over-functioning and burnout?
Expectations. It's, I'm telling you, it runs so deep. So here's what I'll say. With every woman that I coach, we spend the first at least month and a half, sometimes 2 months, talking about her mindset, because she has some goal in mind and she's freaking out, wondering, how can I pull this off? What am I going to do? Am I even good enough? Because usually there's been some sort of a pushback of why it hasn't worked out in the past. And every time we have to spend, just get really clear on all the limiting beliefs that she has. Well, if I do this, then I won't be able to do this. Or if I do that, then someone's going to be upset with me. And we have to get through that first, because it just runs so deep, and we have to learn to let it go. We have to learn that we can't do it all ourselves. Nobody does, and that's perfectly okay and normal. And it sounds so simple, but it's really hard. And quite honestly, as women, we suck at it. It's just like society has just told us for so long that our value is attached to what we can do for other people.
Yeah.
That we're selfish if we try to do anything for ourselves. But we have to flip the story and realize that when you're actually stepping into what you were called to do, and you're reaching your goals and dreams, you're actually, it's like you're making the world better. You're making your family better. Everyone can see, how is she doing this? And they can learn from it and apply it to their lives. And so I think of it differently. I think you're actually doing us a disservice if you don't share your gifts and skills with us, because we need you. Every woman listening to this we need you. We need you to share the book or the idea or the business or whatever that is, that dream in your heart. It has to be shared. And we're just regularly taught to withhold, wait. I'll do that after my husband gets his master's. I'll do that after the kids are out of school. I'll do that someday, and someday usually never comes.
Yeah. I think it's important to align these goal expectations or milestones with what we really want our life to look like too, because I think that can be, and I just experienced this. So I was like, okay, I want to do some speaking events and I want to do this and that. And then when I really actually mapped out what that would look like, I'm like, no, actually. I can't be gone once or twice a month, and I can't, you know what I mean? So what I actually really want is, yes, I want to reach more people and share my message, but I really want more peace and time with my kids, and that, you know what I mean? That type of thing too. So how do I create that? And it shifted some goals and where I want to go and what I want my team to look like and things that I want to accomplish. Because I was actually at the end of the day, what I really want is more internal peace and not more craziness.
Yeah, peace actually is the word. It's the word that I have sought after my entire career, because that's ultimately what we're seeking. There's so many people who are dealing with depression, anxiety, just overwhelm, overfunctioning, to your point. And really what we need is peace.
Yeah.
So the question that I've asked for years is, okay, how can I have both peace and accomplish the goals and dreams in my heart, because it seems like a competing priority. But it's all about, I'm going to use the word balance, and people probably roll their eyes at the word balance, because there's really no such thing. But I think of it as like the ebbs and flows of life. I need to balance all the things that are important to me within a month, within a year, within a 5-year time frame, not today necessarily. So today, as women, we're basically just attacking the most important thing that comes up at the time. And we are constantly pivoting. Somebody has to pick up the kid from school. Somebody's sick. Something happened. Dinner got burned. Now forget it. We're going to order out. You're constantly adapting. And so we just have to give ourselves permission for that.
My husband and I, God bless him, because he keeps me grounded. He's always reminding me. We were just having this conversation this last week. So we were talking about some investment opportunities. And I'm just like, I've got 10 years left, babe. We only have 10 years to make this amount of money, because when my kids are gone, I have a certain lifestyle I want to live, and his idea of that and my idea of that are a little bit different, we learned. So apparently Jen wants a little bougier lifestyle than my husband does, but he's just like, babe, it's a marathon and a race. And he's been telling me that since we got into the workforce. It's a marathon. It's not a race. Just take a breath. We don't have to do it all in the next 5 years. So I think that's important to remember too. How do you think women know when they've crossed that line from ambition into self-abandonment and maybe sabotage?
I think it's all in how you feel. Excuse me. I think it's really important for us to ask, how do I want to feel in my body? And I was actually just at an event not that long ago, and this woman is a CEO of a company, and she's killing it. She's doing amazing things. But she normalized anxiety, and she just said, that I basically just have high functioning anxiety, and this is just how I run my company, and da-da-da-da. And I actually felt a little bad for her, because I was like, we should be normalizing that. It doesn't have to be that way.
Take a breath and self-reflect a little bit, right? And how am I feeling, and paying attention to that? Because that's the person that wakes up one day and all of a sudden they're sick and they had no idea.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? You have to pay attention. So you've created the Powerhouse Women Network, and one thing that stood out to me on your site was this idea that women are often surrounded by people who love them but don't fully understand the weight they carry or vision they're building. And that's powerful. So what inspired you to create this community?
So you just talked about the mental load. So what inspired me to create the Powerhouse Women Network was, so back to that original story I shared where I was traveling 3 weeks out of the month, and I was one of only 3 women above a director title in the whole company. And the other 2 women were the head of HR and the head of marketing, and they had 2 people reporting to them. And I had a team of 100 people who reported up through me, and I was leading a major transformation. And so it wasn't even comparable what I was being asked to do versus what they were. And they were wonderful people. They were super supportive. They were definitely a listening ear, but they still didn't get what I was going through. And meanwhile, all of my friends were in the boat of, my kids are still young, my husband's getting his master's, now's not the time, I'll do it later. And that's perfectly fine. We all go through seasons where that has to be the priority, but it wasn't where I was. And I'm like, I looked around and I did not find anyone who looked like me and was trying to do the things that I was doing. And I just needed support. So I started it for myself, really, of I couldn't find it. So I created it. And my husband introduced me to an amazing woman. Her name is Jen Tregarthen, and she's very well networked. And she kind of invited some of her friends. I invited some of my friends. And we started with a happy hour, and people loved it, and it just kind of grew from, it started with 6 to 8 women, and then everybody invited their friends, and then before we know it, it was over 20 people at an event, and now there's over 150 women that get invited every single month, and so it grew very quickly, but I created it because I knew that I couldn't be the only one that was wondering, where is she? Where is that woman who gets me and wants and understands what I'm going through? And I do think that there is a specific type of woman who is I call it my target is high achieving women. And there's an internal fire that we usually can't describe. Where is this coming from? Why do I feel compelled to do more, to drive, to grow? there are certain types of people that it's just in them and they can't turn it off and it never goes away.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to find those women and how do we lift each other up? How do we support each other? How do we, connect? Hey, you're working towards growing your business in this specific area. I can connect you to people like that. But also deal with the personal things like, hey, I'm looking for a new daycare. Hey, I'm looking for a divorce attorney. Hey, I'm looking for a therapist, whatever it is. Like to have those deep conversations where you can really let your hair down and be seen and supported and not judged and criticized. And we're not competing for seats. We're designing bigger tables. Like that is really what I wanted to create.
I love that because I just did a solo episode on how women specifically, the more successful that we get, the smaller our circle can tend to be. Yeah. And you're right. Like I remember like dad asking me like, I don't take credit for your smarts. Like I was just a straight A student. They never gave me the expectation that I had to get good grades. It was just like, I put that on myself. Yeah. I want to get straight A's. And so I have that mindset, which is why I think we connected so well. Yeah. But, it does get lonely the more successful you become. And it's no offense to my friends or my family or people around you, but not everybody is like that. And sometimes we can then be a reflection of maybe goals or dreams or ambition that they don't have or their fears, you know what I mean? And it's not always a great reception. Sometimes it's, them trying to pull you back down instead of lift you up. Yeah. So I think this community is so awesome that you can surround yourself with other women who are just as ambitious and excited to cheer you on and lift you up and help you instead of kind of drag you down.
Well, and I'll go even a step further of my family wasn't even trying to hold me back. They just really didn't get it. Like they really didn't understand what I was trying to do. And so let's say I had a rough day and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing didn't work out or whatever. Their immediate response was like, well, you're doing more than anyone else is doing anyway. Why don't you just quit? And I'm like, I don't want to quit. I want solutions. I want ideas. I want encouragement. And I mean, there's enough voices in our heads saying, what am I doing this for? And should I quit anyway, right? Yeah. So we're constantly battling those voices and imposter syndrome and all of that anyway. I'm like, I don't need you to add to this. I need your support. So I just had to look outside of my family and my inner circle to find people who really understood what I was trying to do.
And that kind of leads me to, you also talk about moving away from performative networking and into real connection. Like, talk to us about the difference.
Yeah. So you've all been there. Like we go to these events and you're meeting people and then here's my business card. Oh, I'm trying to sell this product. Buy my product from me. Or, hey, well, if you're not going to buy, who can you introduce me to that would buy from me? And it's always just been like nails on a chalkboard to me. I really struggle with it to the point where I've kind of stopped going to networking groups for a while. Yeah. It's just not, it's the energy that people carry. Like I want to be around people who are abundance minded and they really believe that, when the time is right, it'll come and there's more for everyone. The pie continues to grow. And so I am not interested in that type of networking at all. Yeah. I want to, when I network, I'm looking for my people. Yeah. Where are my people? Where are they? I know they're out there somewhere. And so I've found that all I have to do is share my story and people will either lean in or they'll be like, whoa, okay, well, can you buy my thing? Or you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's pretty clear within a matter of minutes whether we're connected or not. Yes. And so I drive towards connection. Yeah. Like if there's a connection, if I'm drawn to somebody, I also really think that how the energy people emit is really important. So when I do go to events, I'll literally scan the room and I'll be able to see I need to talk to her, and her. I love it. And the rest of the 100 people disappear. I don't even see them. And I know that those are the people I need to talk to. Yeah. Because of just how she's carrying herself, the colors she's wearing, how she how she stands, and it's just so obvious now. Yeah. And so that's how I work toward it. And then in terms of the deep connection, I don't want women to pretend. Because what we're talking about is so important, because there are, I'm sure tens of thousands, maybe even millions of women out there who are performing and they're lying to themselves and they're certainly lying to other people about how they're doing. Yeah. And they have it all together and they're crying in a corner somewhere. wondering like, what the hell am I doing? Can I even maintain this? Like, I don't have any help. I'm working my butt off. Or they look good when they're, on 9 to 5, and then they go home and then they're downing a bottle of wine every single night, or they're doom scrolling, or they're binge watching Netflix just to like drown out the day.
Shut it all out. Yeah.
Right. So I want people who are truly thriving, where you're doing things because you actually love it and you want to do it, not because you have to, not because you're performing. But there's also like an ebb and a flow where, today's not the day. As an example, on Saturday, I had this whole list of things that I was going to do for my business. And I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I went and I took a 3-hour nap, and God bless my husband, he watched my kids.
I love it.
And then I did it on Sunday instead. So I still got the work done, but I was like, now is not the time. Or maybe we just need to get up and go for a walk. Maybe we just need to take a break and clear our mind. Like, give ourselves permission to do those nervous system balancing activities so that we can be at our best.
I love that. So I think many women have experienced both support and we're kind of getting to this competition from other women. Yeah. What do you think women get wrong about community sometimes?
I think that there is still a sense of there's only so many seats available.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm going to get one, I have to pull somebody else down to get there. And I just don't buy it. I really just don't buy it. I actually had... not that long ago, I had somebody who it's probably a really long story, but long story short, she accused me of trying to steal business from somebody because they had reached out to me for that person's client had reached out to me for a conversation. And I was like, why would you even assume that I was going to take business from her?
Yeah.
Then I met with the person and I had intentions to talk to her and go back to her of like, how do we work this out? Like, should I be involved at all? Is it going to go to you? Are we going to split the commission? Like, how's this going to work? But she saw it from the outside, and then she just started gossiping about me and accused me of stuff that wasn't even true. And I was like, gosh, that says a lot more about her than it does about me. But it still made me feel like crap. And I was just like, why? Like, of everything I'm trying to build and everything I'm trying to do, it's about community. It's about let's expand it and support each other. It was the exact opposite of what I've been trying to do. And I'm like, well, sometimes you're just going to get some of that, because I can't control what other people have experienced, what other people think, like what their mindsets are.
Right.
All I can do is continue to say, nope, like, I'm just going to expand. I'm going to have an abundance mindset. I think there is more than enough room for all of us. And we're also all so unique. There's so much different skills and gifts that we bring to the table that same client could have 2 different experiences and we could both benefit.
Yeah. And it takes confidence, I think, and a clear understanding of who you are, I think, to make the choice of, like for the other person, for example, she could have easily come to you and said, hey, I heard this, like, can you explain like what's going on? You know what I mean? Instead, she believed the story and just came at it from an accusatory standpoint. Like, again, it says enough about both of those people. And I think when you're confident and aligned in who you are, you get to choose then, like, you know what, that's okay. You can feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way. That wasn't the case, but also like check you off the list of the people I need in my circle and let me move on. You know what I mean? And that's okay. It's okay to do that. I've fired people in the last year. Like, I have been on a mission lately of like truly aligning people with who I enjoy doing business with and truly enjoy being around. And it's the people that are lifting other people up. I want to walk in a room and listen to as many people as I can and learn as much as I can about other people, and then try to make connections. And when you do that, your business explodes. Instead of walking in, like you said, and how can I get business? That's not what it's about. How can I lift other people up? And when you can find other people like that, then it's pretty fun.
Then the business just shows up.
And it shows up, exactly. So your framework around being fulfilled and limitless really stands out, because most women feel like they have to choose between success and peace, kind of like we talked about. What does fulfillment actually mean to you now?
So fulfillment means ultimately feeling good in where I am and what I'm doing, feeling good in my body. It is peace. It is being surrounded by people that I love and who love me back. It's being able to share my gifts and skills without being judged or criticized or pushed down. And that's probably not even a good way to say it, because that means it's external, like someone else can impact me that way. But you have to step into your power, and you have to know what you're working toward. So in the book, my framework, I talk about the fulfilled life formula. And so the formula is having clarity, capacity, and calling. So it's clarity on who you are and what you want. It's building the capacity to support your vision and getting clear on your calling, or what you're here to do. And when I think of calling, most people think of calling as just your job, your career. And that is one component. But calling is actually made up of three things. It's faith, love, and meaningful work. So faith is being grounded in something outside of yourself. It's believing that there's more to this life than just me, and I'm called here to contribute something to the world. It's also just having, what do I stand on when this shit hits the fan and nothing's going well? Like, where's my rock? What am I standing on? Love is having those deep supportive relationships where you're actually building connection, and people want to see you grow and support you rather than compete. And then, of course, meaningful work is having work that lights you up, because we spend a lot of time at work, of course. And then so I call that the amplifier side of my framework. There's also detractors. So there's a ton of roadblocks that we have to subtract in order to achieve fulfillment. So imposter syndrome, fear, burnout, the need for external validation and other people's opinions. I mean, there's many roadblocks. Everyone's are unique, but some of them are kind of the same. So that's the framework. And ultimately, I think if you know your values and you live in alignment with your values, and you're working towards something that lights you up, you have deep relationships, and you're at peace with who you are. And the capacity part is also like just having the energy to support it. So that's taking care of yourself. Like, you have to take care of yourself as well. That's how you really find fulfillment. And I realized that I just talked a lot, and you're probably like, holy crap, that's a lot to do to find fulfillment. And that's why fulfillment tends to be so elusive, is because either we don't have clarity, and we're not putting value on what we want, like we're downsizing what we really want, or we're not taking care of ourselves, or we don't have deep loving relationships because we're just trying to people please and keep everybody happy, or we're just doing work we hate because we were told to do that for so long, and we're just doing what everyone else told us to do. So there's multiple areas you have to tackle, but it's really being grounded in who you are and what you want, and giving yourself permission to do that, and then taking care of yourself through the process while also contributing to something bigger than yourself.
Okay, so you work with so many high-level women. What do you think women secretly crave right now that they're not really willing to say out loud?
Freedom.
I'd agree with that.
Women they really do crave freedom, and the ability to be themselves and to be fully known and loved and accepted, because we've spent decades proving ourselves and being everything to everyone and doing what they wanted us to do, and realizing it doesn't work. And so it's like that whole identity piece of who am I now and what's next. Like women are just craving it.
Okay. And what do you think women need to stop apologizing for?
Being themselves.
I love it.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's
being
so
themselves. True. Like, come on. I think everybody was just uniquely created with a plan and a purpose. They're wonderful people that need to let their light shine. And we have to stop apologizing for who we really are and pretending to be someone else. There's only one you. You got to be you.
We've talked about this a lot on social media about like just be your authentic self. And I think that's easier said than done, because I have like this professional persona, right? I'm an educator. But I keep that professional side, and I don't let people really see my goofy, weird, whatever. And I need to.
You might get more clients if you did that.
It's so hard sometimes to be like, if you really knew me, so I totally get that. Okay, last question. If you could sit down with every ambitious woman listening right now and tell her one thing, what would it be?
One thing. Wow, that's hard. I would say start now. I would say be who you are. I would say, what is the thing that you've been holding back on? Mm-hmm. Let it out.
Yeah.
And stop putting up with the BS. Don't settle.
Yeah.
A lot of women settle for less than they deserve in their jobs, in their relationships, even where they live and the environments they surround themselves in. We just don't have to. We just don't have to. I'll tell a quick story. So I work a lot with women in transition, in their careers. Maybe they're trying to get out of a job they hate, or they've been recently laid off, or they recently sold a company. And I help them figure out what's next and find the next opportunity for them. And I've just seen over and over and over and over and over again, women who they're in an environment, they have gifts and skills, they're killing it, but for whatever reason, their boss doesn't recognize their gifts, or maybe they're threatened by it, or the environment just doesn't support them in the way that they deserve. But because they stay so long, because they're trying to prove their value, and I'm going to make it work, and it's going to be fine, their confidence starts to erode to the point where they kind of reach this point where they're like, oh my God, maybe I actually suck. Is it me? Is it me? Am I just not capable? Am I not good enough? And again, that's why we have to start with mindset when we work together. But just, again, over and over again, they don't change at all. I move them from this crappy environment that they're in to a new one. And suddenly they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. We love you. Where have you been? And she's not doing anything different. She didn't get new skills or gifts or whatever. She's exactly the same person. And now she's in an environment that supports her, and she just blossoms, and she gets promoted within 6 months, and she makes way more money, and she has more flexibility. And we live our lives thinking that that's not possible. I can't have it all. I can't have what I really want, or I have to make compromises. And I've just seen it too many times. It's not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
We really, really, really can have the relationships and the health and the freedom and the job that light you up and live a truly fulfilling life. It really is possible.
Can I add to that too? Because I feel like I literally was just in those shoes, because I also don't want women to be afraid to be surrounded by other women that are doing better than them. So I was just at a company for 25 years. We were on the top of the leaderboard all the time, which was great. We were doing well, but we ended up making a change after 25 years. And now I'm surrounded by women who are doing better. They have higher numbers. They're doing, you know what I mean? And immediately, I'm in, and within weeks, I have my girl gang, and we're helping each other, and we're powwowing, and business has exploded.
Isn't that amazing?
Just because of the mindset of, I can do better. I don't have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just be careful who you surround yourself with, and go into bigger
pond.
Yeah. Go into bigger rooms for sure. All right, Christi, this conversation was so powerful. And honestly, I think so many women listening probably felt seen in a way they haven't in a long time. I feel everything we just spoke about so deeply. Because success without alignment eventually just becomes exhausting. And what I love about your message is that it gives women permission to redefine success, stop overfunctioning, seek deeper community, and build a life that actually feels good to live, not just one that looks impressive from the outside.